I am Aaron, and tonight's a bit more free flow, but I thought one of the things that we talked about tonight is chillers. Kind of not quite thrillers, well, sort of, but kind of thrillers you watch on a cold evening. And I've taken out a lot of the big stuff that you're going to normally think about. So if you're thinking about like suspense film like Alfred Hitchcock, I didn't put Alfred Hitchcock in here because he's a guy. Hey there, Jason, that deserves his very own video, which well he'll get down the road. And I did get to speak with Hitchcock a bit on Coffee with Aliens, which I hope you guys checked out when I did that a while back. But we are going to talk about some thrillers, some actual really cool little films. Because for me, a thriller is one of the greatest things to watch on a cold evening. Like everybody thinks like they're Christmas movies and they're or like they're creepy Christmas films. Hey there, Griff. Have good evening. But for me, one of the great things that I think about is just something really kind of that suits the evening for me. It doesn't have to be like wintry. It doesn't have it's not. So we're gonna leave it things like The Thing because that's too obvious. Uh, and I've tried to not put too many in there that are slasher or jello. I tried to think outside the box and think of stuff that I considered like movies that kind of like just had something that really hey the Richard that really got me. Whether there's a scene that really kind of kept me on the edge of my seat, or the ending, or just like an overbearing dread or something throughout the film. Hey there, Dave. So it's been a couple days since I've done video, unless of course you're on my Crimson Cult. Then if you are, then you've seen two videos. Hey there, Alan. I know, unfortunately. Uh, the it's been it's been a rough time for people that have passed. Jeremy Bulloch, who played Boba Fett in the Star Wars original trilogy, unfortunately passed away today too. And so I'm gonna be honest. The last video I did, and I want to put this out there right now. I did uh, with like and it always kind of happens to me for some reason. So I did a video on the latest releases for Severin, and I want to get this out of the way right now. Or now, either way, and it was at a time I got that was it was a rough like it's been a rough month, and it hit me because I got some fairly negative responses towards the video, and that was it kept me from making a live video for a couple of days. It really did. To be honest with you, it got to me. They don't usually get to me, but that it did get to me because it was the same thing that happened during the halfway sale. Is you try to be positive, and there's always some negativity. It was nothing. Wasn't like particularly about me or anything like that. It was just it was there, and I followed on my Twitter and all that stuff too, and it was just basically just like um, kind of like trash the company and all that type of stuff. And I try to stay mostly positive when it comes to a lot of this stuff. There's a reason for that because I figure we all get a lot of negativity outside. Uh, I I'm even trying. So in 2021, every company is going to get a fresh slate from me, a clean slate. So even if it was a company that I didn't speak about much before, which of course was Dark Force Entertainment, you're all getting a clean slate from me in 2021. We're going to see what happens in 2021 when it comes to a lot of these companies. Because people do a Ragman. I'm not sure this time. This time around, hey there, Brian. Welcome. It is the famous Brian Sauer, who just put out a video today, which you guys should definitely check out. Hey there, Nate, on the Just to This YouTube channel, which is pretty much the companion piece to his Just to This podcast, and works well with the Pure Cinema podcast, which is amazing as well. So make sure you check that out, guys. Because him and Elric are really great with that. Hey there, 4K. But yeah, you get something like you can. Hey, Uncle Al, welcome, welcome, man. We are talking chillers tonight, like kind of just films that really, that I think are fun for a cold night. Um, and they don't have to be like winter movies. I've tried to stick away from Alfred Hitchcock because I think that's one that deserves. It's a chiller, that's for sure, but it deserves its own video. The Trip to the Closet. I'm not sure if I've seen the latest Trip to the Closet or not. I think I did. I find them really fun. Like Severin does this like kind of this the Severin Attic, I think it's called, and like Criterion does the Criterion Closet. Hey there, Zach. Welcome, man. So you made it. So did the notification thing help, or is it just by accident? Hey there, Emily. Did you order any stuff? Make sure to check out don't, to finish that Jet Setters Pod video afterwards because it's really good. Nice. YouTube notification worked. So the reason YouTube notifications works, by the way, guys, for those that don't get my notifications all the time, it works for a simple reason, and it's a simple thing only. And people kind of tend to take it for granted. See the like button? That's what makes the YouTube notification work. If there's a few like buttons, likes on a video, if there's a lot of likes on a video, then more than likely that channel is going to get, you're going to get notifications from that channel in the future. If you don't like the videos, then you're not going to get notifications from that channel in the future. So please share, like, subscribe. Us, but especially like, it really does help the channel a lot. And I can see we are 28 people here, and I've only got 6 likes so far. So, what up with that? Hey there, Craig. I'm going to open up this here so I can actually say there, William, so I can actually see your guys' comments. I know I'm going to miss out if I don't, and that does tend to happen with me. So, in order to try and convince some of you guys to take a peek at the Patreon, I'll let you know what the last 2 videos were as I open up this YouTube thing and try to get it to so I can see the comments. Because did you order by any chance, Emily? Did you order the Silent Madness T-shirt? Well, I don't have ice. I only like grab from my own library. That's why ice wasn't in there. But I actually do like that film. See, for me, that's the reason. I spoke with Andy from Vinegar Syndrome. Well, he does the Canadian like distribution of in Vinegar Syndrome. And the reason that he has everything else in my package, but he has to get the notification to send it off. But there's one thing that hasn't been sent yet, and he was for me. He was waiting on the Silent Madness T-shirt. That was the only thing that was left for me. So that's or we would have sent it already off. And if if I don't get a notification tomorrow, I'll probably reach out to him and say, if you can, send off the rest of it and send off the Silent Madness T-shirt afterwards. I'm okay with that. Really nice guy, by the way. I got a bit of blowback on Twitter for that too. Nice, Matthew. But Vigilante 4K, oh, nice. That crash was pushed back. I can't be certain, but I'm guessing that crash was pushed back because that's what I'd heard. Silence of the Lambs 7 and Psycho, horror or thriller? Uh, Kind of both. I mean, people tend to like to designate along the line. Uh, for all of them, for me, uh, although they're horror films, they're in the thriller category of horror. I think of horror as more of a bigger blanket term. Hey there, Dr. Mark. Welcome, man. I think of horror as a blanket term. Like there's subgenres of horror, right? So you got like slashers and giallo and thrillers. So horror is the big term. So any film, like when Silence of the Lambs won the Best Picture, right? Won the Academy Award that won. Um, they can say, well, Silence of the Lambs is a thriller. It's not really a horror film. Like that's one of the things. That's one of the discussions. That's one of the debates. But the way that I see it is that they're all horror films. All of them. I mean, Wolfman, it's horror. Dracula, that's horror. Uh, Friday the 13th is horror. See, no, I don't think so. Like, I understand what you mean. Um, hey, there's cinematic, but the way I see it is horror. That's your blanket term. Anything that evokes fear or dread. Hey there, Joseph, or any type of like scary type of emotion, edge of the seat type of thing. That's horror. So is the Silence of the Lambs and Seven, or give that type of stuff? Hey there, Damon. Yes, it definitely does. Is it also so? It's a thriller, but that's its category. I'm saying like that. That's a category, like a subcategory. Like slashers are horror films, but the subcategory for like a slasher film is it's a slasher film, a giallo film. It's a giallo film, but they're still horror films. That's my thought on it anyway. That's how I go with it. Been binge watching Vinegar Syndrome. Nice. Yes, actually it is. By that logic, Sasha, Deliverance definitely is a horror film. I would definitely go on the hill that Deliverance is a horror film. 110%, because Deliverance is definitely a thriller. Um, and there are films like in that vein as well. From like the nightmare sequence at the end of Thriller. Hey there, George. By the way, check out George's video he did today. Where he unboxed the movie Road Games, which is kind of the inspiration for the video that I'm doing tonight. Just to let you know. So hats off to you, George. You gave me an idea for a video, and that's why I'm here right now. But yeah. So Deliverance definitely. There is a definite fear, like kind of like a crescendo of forebodingness within. And I love this that you asked this question because it's a really good question, and it's something I've been meaning to get around to, like for a while, because I get asked this all the time. Is this a thriller? Or is this a horror? And a lot of it comes from like okay, Silence of the Lambs won an Oscar, but it's not really a horror film. It's a thriller. And it'll even be like the directors or people will say that they want to distance themselves from a genre that unfortunately you can't. You can try, you can say it's not, but horror is a category. And if you ever buy any horror books, like on for many people, like you're gonna notice that a lot of them, like especially the bigger ones, are broken up into categories. They'll have like madmen, slashers, thrillers, serial killers, um, backwoods horror, that type of thing. So yeah, they all fit into the horror category, but they just fit into different slots in the horror category. Like in the way that like there's different types of musicals or there's different types of drama films. Horror noir and giallo, definitely. Giallo is very, very much so. So I've got a pile over there. I'm going to start showing you those in a second. You have Vinegar Syndrome's Madman on the background. It's a good film. Hey, Dustin, welcome. I had to cancel much of your Vinegar Syndrome Black Friday order. Went a bit overboard. Oh, no. I know how that feels. So, speaking of which, update on the kitty cat because there's an update. And and basically, so we went through all of the medication as I told you that scared you taking all this medication. Uh, and unfortunately, last night he wasn't feeling that well, and this morning I noticed he was cleaning himself a lot in a specific area. So I went down to the basement and checked the litter, and there was quite a bit of blood down there. So I contacted my better half, who was upstairs, and I said, I don't think the UTI has gone away. I think we need to get more medication for him. And she said, I pretty much said I was about to text you because he's upstairs and he peed in my office and he peed blood. I know you do, Sasha, unfortunately. Um, it's been it's it's been tough. So we got some more medication for him, and we have to get him to pee. We bought this new box, like a kind of the bottom part of like a litter box thing, and we have to get him to pee in that in the morning and bring it after we can get him to do it. We have to bring that directly to the vet so that they can actually do a test on it. So hopefully it's just another like UTI that's taken a bit longer. My cat is 16 years old, so I have to be very careful. Have a great night there, Nate. Emily, I hope that God that doesn't happen for me, and especially not before Christmas. It's been, and I feel for you because when I had to do that last year, it was killer. It broke me a bit. And I'll be honest that today was one of those days where, and I don't want to get negative or anything like that, for so I'm just gonna like gloss over this. Um, I got to a point where with everything going on that I was shaking. I was literally shaking. I did not know like what to do. So I just came downstairs and my grandmother's like funeral was supposed to be on on Thursday. What's it, Wednesday? And then because the weather got canceled, it's tomorrow. So I'll be seeing that live streamed actually. Um, and then the cat and just everything. Just it seemed like everything was falling on at once, and I couldn't breathe. Well, I came downstairs and I got this like ever ready type of like punching thing, and I punched like a lot, and it helped a little bit, but not totally. But you know what helps? Let's get rid of that part. Talking to you guys, diving into some movies, and having some fun, right? That's the way we go with it. Have you ever seen Jonathan Livingston? I years ago. Thanks, George. I really appreciate that. But yeah, sometimes you just gotta go find a punching bag and just hit it. I need a good punching bag. I really do. I used to have one when I was younger. I used to do a lot of speed bag and like punching bag and stuff like that, which I had planned to do when I moved here. I planned to get one of the first things I planned to do was get an actual punching bag, but it's like getting the right place to do it at. I used to work the bag a lot, uh, and I miss that actually. Did you edit it? I don't know if I'd be able to do that. You're stronger than me for that. For that, yeah, you have to do things like to help you. I lost some viewers by saying this. I do apologize. Um, so let's get into chillers, movies that I like and that stick with me. And remember, all these are they're gonna be different types. Uh, there may be some supernatural stuff in here, most some sci-fi style stuff in here, but some you guys are amazing. So like understand that when I come in here, no matter what mood I might be in at the time, you guys are incredible, and that is never taken for granted. I always that's something that I always remember, and it's fantastic. You may disagree with some of my opinions, and that's okay because that's kind of fun too. Anyway, so first up is a John Frankenheimer film, and it's one that stuck with me. It's one that I watched when I was young. that I thought was really well done. I love the camera work in this film. So, Zach, I'm sure you're gonna love this one. If you're still there, let me know what you think when you see them. Stargirl's incredible, by the way, George. I love that season. I gotta pick it up. Like it's really really good. I watched it when it was on TV back when we had like DC Universe before like HBO Max gutted DC Universe. But Seconds is a really really good film with Rock Hudson. If you've never seen this movie, I really don't want to give away a lot, but it is kind of it's a futuristic movie. Hey there, Mary, welcome. And it it is. I know how you feel, Sasha. For me, I find it, and everybody's different. I find it therapeutic. So that it definitely is like when I say you guys help me, you guys do help me. Uh, but everyone is different in that. See, I knew you'd have this one. You're a DP. Yeah. So and this is one of those that I do recommend if you're going into like film, and you're going into editing, or you're going into film photography. Then your camera work. Look at Seconds. Seconds is a really good. John Frankenheimer in general is really good when it comes to this type of stuff. Now there's some really cool, neat camera work in this. Um, this works a lot with angles, and I know I'm not telling you much about the film. That's on purpose. Really would like this to be something you discover yourself. But just to put it like in a pretty simple way. Um, so this is about an older guy. He's a banker, accountant, something like that, and he gets the chance to be young, to become young again, and he to become young in the body of Rock Hudson. So, but as always with when you get like these type of deals, or when somebody comes up to you and says, I'm going to tell you something that's too good to be true. It is too good to be true. If you want to find out why it's too good to be true and exactly what happens in the film, though, I don't want to. I'm not going to spoil that for you. Seconds was put up by Criterion, so too bad Kubrick's not here. He would have really loved that I'm showing some Criterion releases off tonight. Yeah, I think Cinematic Collector, I think would be down your alley. There are some great features on here as well. We got an audio commentary with director John Frankenheimer, new interview with actor Alec Baldwin, excerpts from Hollywood on the Hudson, a 1965 television program with on-set footage, and an interview with director with actor Rock Hudson. New program on the meaning of the film. Interviews with Evans Frankenheimer, the director's widow. That's my Newfoundland accent coming out. Widow, and actor Salome Jens interview with Frankenheimer from 1971, and new visual essay as well. Unfortunately, I thought I may watch this movie. Then I remembered most all my criterions are where? In Morocco. That's where they are. So no chilly evening seconds for me. Sounds wrong, but you know what I mean. All right. You're still the same person in new skin. It is a really good one. Let me know how you find it again. Like it's one of those like I go back to every once in a while, and it's always interesting to see, like when you go back to a film that you haven't watched in a while, how it plays for you now. Does it work the same way? The Arrow version is comparable. I don't have the Arrow version, so but I would not doubt that at all because Arrow is amazing with what they do. Speaking of one that also has an Arrow version, Rick's Place. Yeah, Blowout. Now, this is one of my favorite films, but not just that. This cover that Criterion did for Blowout is one of, if not my favorite cover I've ever seen on any movie disc. Definitely a bold ending. I totally agree, Jacob. This is an incredible film. And there are times lately, today for instance, that I completely related to this cover. Saw Bloat in theater. Nice. Did I see this one? I think I was a wee bit too young. because this isn't like the no 81. I did see this in theater because that was around the time that I started watching. So for those that don't know the film, uh, Lithgow is terrifying. Lithgow is amazing when he's terrifying. Um, he is a sound guy, uh, and he's working on a slasher film. It's a great opening of this film. Unfortunately, the lead girl, just doesn't have the right scream. She can't get it down, and not sure why he doesn't just use kind of like the Wilhelmina scream, but that's okay. There's a reason for all that. But at a portion in this film, so he has all these sound clips. You know, that's what he does. He's a sound editor. Um, he's got all these sound clips, and that's his entire life. He's been like building up these library of these of all these sound clips for all the films that he works on. And he comes back to his place, and it has been ransacked uh, because he's caught something on a clip, like much like in those Argento films, that he doesn't really that can be very very damning. And so his life is this his life is these sounds, his music, and his life is literally right in this scene. It is being torn apart. His life is in shambles, and it is probably the one of the most effective covers. If no, I'm gonna go right there. The most effective cover that Criterion ever put out. Thank you, Michael. I have been working really hard to up my game on the Patreon videos, so I really appreciate that because I worked really hard in the last few days on those. So you'll all be seeing more of those kind of those retro things where I dived into the Midnight Movie Collection in my last video. So you're going to see more stuff like that. I'm going to be diving into some like DVD horror and going into some other stuff as well. So keep an eye out because they're you've noticed they've been more frequent. That's going to continue. Have I covered the Ghost Keeper? Actually, on another video recently I did. Um, Ghost Keeper was one that was put up by Code Red. Oh, see, not the best Criterion. The best Criterion cover. That's the thing. For me, like I love Rashomon, but for me, that's the best cover that Criterion ever did. And you know that concludes the new one with Crash, which is amazing. That it's just the most evocative cover. But sticking with the Criterion line for the next video, this also has a really cool cover. Oh, Resurrection's best cover? I still gotta go with it. Like, okay, maybe that's just way really personal to me now, but but yeah, I'm still gonna go with. I love Rashomon though. It does have a great cover. Don't Look Now. Now, this is a movie that I talk about a little bit on my channel, and one of the reasons that that I actually talk about this one is if I was when you're teaching film and you're going to teach film, if you're going to teach film editing, then this is kind of what you go to. This is one of the ones that you look at because Don't Look Now is a master class in editing film. So if you're someone that's going into film, if that's going to be your career, that's something that you want to do in the future. This is a movie to look at, just to really study in the way that this film is edited, because the editing on this is fantastic. And Jacob is 100% right in that Alice, Sweet Alice, hey there Vanessa, is another one that would that has some will be a great double feature with this. But this is a master class in editing. Is the best way to put this. Just watch the film. I can't exactly explain how. You just have to watch the film and kind of soak it in and kind of watch it more than once. Because if you're in editing, this is kind of one of those go-tos. Again, there's a ton of great features on Don't Look Now. Which Vanessa, if you've not seen Don't Look Now, I strongly recommend you do not look online at all for this film and you just watch it. Now, unfortunately for me, when I was really young, my mom was in the Doubleday Book Club. So every month she would come in, she'd like say, okay, pick out something to get in the club. She would get like one of those sheets, one of those little flyers, whatever come in the mail. And because she was very like like she really, really kind of like stressed reading. Uh, so because I didn't live with my mom, she basically she'd send it to me, and I would choose something. And one of the first things that I chose was the works of Daphne du Maurier. I think the first thing I chose was the works of Sherlock Holmes, which was the two like massive volumes. But the second thing I chose was the works of Daphne du Maurier, and then it was James Clavell, Shogun, and there's a few others anyway. So I did know the ending to this one going in because I had, of course, read the short story that this is based on. And by far and large, my favorite Daphne du Maurier story. And I think it's a Canadian thing, Vanessa. The Double Day Book Club was kind of like a big thing for Canadian moms. But definitely check this one out. It's creepy. It's got an air of forebodingness, and it almost, because of the opening of the film, it was almost canceled. Warren Beatty was dating Julie Christie at the time that Don't Look Now was made. Now, there is a very, hey there, coach, welcome, man. There's a very like provocative love scene at the beginning of Don't Look Now, and it's not like an exploitive scene. It's basically intrinsic to the plot and what will happen at the that's true. Um, the at later, just a few minutes later in the film, but the love scene was so realistic that when Warren Beatty went and saw an early cut of the film, he's he got extremely jealous and he said, "There's no way that's a fake love scene," and he tried to get the movie squashed. But thankfully, that didn't happen. Uh, whether it's just an extremely well shot and edited scene, or Donald Sutherland and Julie Christie uh, got more excited. Well, that is one of the things, the tales of time that we'll look into one of these days. Did he? He spoke about that. I'm guessing he said it was just a love scene, right? Don't Look Now is amazing. Don't like look up anything on it, Vanessa. Like and under 100% don't. But it's one that I think you would really enjoy. Do a Patreon exclusive for Criterions. Actually, that's not a bad idea. I may do that. I haven't got to check out that video yet. I got to put on my list to watch. So I got the next 2 days off, so I'll be checking that out tomorrow. And it's one of those where I kind of wanted to savor it because I am a fan of Thelma Todd. So Vanessa, I look forward to it. Okay, here's a polarizing one, but one that I really, really like. Yeah, the actuality of shooting a love scene is very much not not a sexy thing. This is Eden Lake. Now, the first time I saw Eden Lake, the ending of this movie shook me. It shook me so much. I hated this movie. I was so mad. I was so angry with this movie that I just couldn't. And you know what? It took me a couple years, like in all honesty, until I actually went back and I watched this again. And I just realized how well constructed and how well done that this film is to evoke such a reaction from me. Such a strong reaction. It didn't do it. It was an accent thing. It wasn't because the ending was bad or was sloppy. It was because this movie was brilliantly constructed. If you haven't seen it, Couch, don't look it up. I mean, this is one to go in blind to, and 100%. And look, we got Kelly Rowley, of course, as Vanessa said, is gorgeous, and she's not wrong there. And Michael Fassbender, yes, that Michael Fassbender. And only thing I'm going to say is basically a man and his wife decide to go to Eden Lake, which is a place he used to go to when he was young, because it's been, they're getting rid of it, and something happens, and the and it builds, and it builds, and it builds to the very final second of this film. The suspense and the tension keeps building and building and building. And just when you think you can take a breath, it's okay, you can breathe now, then it builds some more. Eden Lake, if you have not seen this movie, do not read up on Eden Lake. Do not look at anything on Eden Lake. Blind buy Eden Lake. And I do mean buy. It's like buy this film. You may watch it and be really angry and not be able to watch it for a year, like me. But trust me, you will go back and you will eventually appreciate what this film did to you and to your emotions. It is incredible. This is oh, it's good. You got to. You've got to. You come on. Can you not? Uh, this is the this was a French edition. I got this one over in Morocco actually. I could definitely see Scream Factory doing this one. And I love the fact that it has a slip. It's the same, It's I just love the way the slip is done. And I cannot show you the inside because it is a little bit of a spoiler, sort of on the inside. So definitely check out Eden Lake. It's a really, really good film. Now the next film is probably the only one that I would say would be we could say it's a slasher film. I think it's the only one, like one of the only one or two that really that would what would be considered like a slasher film. But it fits the chiller aspect in that it's cold, in that it's tense, and that it keeps going. And for me, I'm gonna put it out there right now. This has one of the best final girls, and I guess wouldn't it be modern day cinema now? When was this one done? In 2000s, right? 2008, right? Yeah, 2008. So in that came out in the 2000s, but still one of my favorite final girls and one of my favorite characters, which I wish they would have done more of and did it kind of better. But I'm kind of glad the first two go together really well. The third one, which is a prequel, not so much, but it's the second film is the peak for this movie, and that is Cold Prey 2, called Frit Wilt when I saw it actually, because I saw it before it came out on DVD. This is really, really good. It's way better than I thought it was going to be. It was one of those where I'd seen the original. Ah, Zach, you got to check this out. So I'd seen the original, and I thought, oh, heroic. Well, I hope it. Well, you can definitely go or mute me because I don't want you to. I don't want to be keeping your young one up. They're very important. Oh, Emily, if you love the first one, this and this is what shocked me, Emily, because I love the first film. This is so much better than the first film. Like you don't think, okay, you said, okay, the first one's really good. Sequel is going to be more of a cash grab. It's not really going to fit. It's not going to suit it. Oh, Jacob, definitely check out the second film. The second film, for if you love the first film, this is way better. If you didn't like the first film, definitely check this out because I think you're going to like the second one. The sequel is done real. I call this, the modern day kind of Halloween too. It's kind of set for a large part in a hospital. We get a bit of an explanation behind the killer, a little bit more, and actually just enough to make it like see to really get the menace and and the kind of the forebodingness of the killer, and have you feel like how in the hell are they going to get through this? and it just goes and goes, and the ending is so well done. And the final girl in this one, incredible. And sequels, best originals. That is actually, Craig, something I've never thought of before, but I'm definitely going to do that down the road because that's an excellent idea. Ah, Kubrick, you missed out on some criterions at the beginning of this video. So check those out later on because I did have some criterions in here. I wasn't sure whether I was going to put this one on the list or not. Not because I don't think it belongs here, but because it does have more of a supernatural aspect to it. As, of course, did the Fritville, the Cold Prey 2. Sequels do best originals. I just showed you one of them, Ragman. Also, by the way, Godfather 2 is better than Godfather. Putting that one out there. That's just, everybody's got their own opinion on that. There's a few actually I can think about. So that's actually a good video. And it would stir up some controversy. But an amazing film, a werewolf film. So what werewolf film do you think I could put on here that's extremely tense? That is really well done, extremely well acted, and would fit along this line of film, long lines of the list that I'm doing tonight. Teen Wolf. No, not Teen Wolf. Not The Howling either, actually. A little bit more comedic aspects to The Howling and to Silver Bullet to put them on this type of list, though I do love both films. George, you're right. You're 100% right. Dog Soldiers. If you're going to put a extremely tense, extremely claustrophobic, isolationistic, if that's a word, film on the list, something that just keeps going, right to the end of the film, it's Dog Soldiers. This is a really, really good film. Sean Pertwee, Kevin McKidd, Liam Cunningham, of course, from, I guess, the Game of Thrones, a lot of people know him from. It keeps you, it grabs you, and you don't know who, if anybody, is going to survive. Who's the next person is going to be aware of? Who's going to have to sacrifice himself? What direction is this going in? One of the big twists, I think, is pretty much, welcome, Death Bomb, is I got it. Like, and I'm going to guess a lot of people got the big twist in this one here. It's kind of a almost pretty much given. But I do need to grab this. This was on Blu-ray from Scream Factory. Unfortunately, it didn't get to Canada, and it was hard to get. But I eventually will get the Blu-ray of this one. I do love this film, and actually, I did recommend Blood Tide. I don't have it in my collection, but it's one that I like. Wolfen is a really good film. It's highly underrated, actually. All right. When it comes to films that are tense, the films that really, really amp it up, where you're wondering, okay, how is this movie going to end? How is she going to find her way out? This one's perfect. So if you've never seen this movie, I do strongly recommend it. It was one of those that I picked up one night on VHS, and it was a rental, and I started watching it, and it just blew my mind. And that was a little movie called Mute Witness. I'm actually really, really surprised no company has picked this up and done like a really, really good release of this film yet. If you want like a really tense film, Dead Man's Shoes, I'll definitely check it out. Oh, Jason, this is excellent. Mute Witness, I think it was done back in the early 2000s or late 90s. Good question though. 94. So basically, the idea behind this film is that there's a girl that's no, it's not Catherine Isabel, but I know it does kind of look like her on there. she is mute, and she's working on a movie set, and she's there after the set shuts down. Now, this is not giving anything away because it's pretty much a setup to the film, but unfortunately, what she stumbles across is that after the set is closed down, what they're making on the movie set, and she's in Germany, so basically she's in a foreign place to her. They're making snuff films, and she sees a murder done for for a snuff film, and all of a sudden they realize she's seen it, but she has to find a way to tell them, to tell basically to let people know what she saw, while being chased by these guys that are, she doesn't know who to trust, obviously, in the film. She doesn't know who she can trust. She's in a foreign country. She can't speak. She doesn't know who she can trust, and she's seen something horrific, and they know that she's seen it, so they're after her. Mute Witness is a really good movie, and if you've never seen it, I do recommend it. Is it like See No Evil? It's more tense, I'd say, probably than See No Evil, though I do love See No Evil. It's a really good film. Everybody remembers the fridge sequence from See No Evil. But Mute Witness, I would consider, in my opinion, it's a bit more tense than See No Evil. But both of them are excellent films. So if you like See No Evil, you're definitely going to like this. The chasing after the murder. It is. I mean, it is so well done. And it's a shame because it's never gotten a really good release, as far as I know. Like, you guys can tell me if I'm wrong, though. But I've never seen this movie get a really good release. So it's still something that's flown under the radar for for a lot of people. And it's a shame because Mute Witness is something that any of the boutique labels could put out and would do an excellent job with. It's just such a well done film. Sensory deprivation, yeah. It would have been excellent to see. All right, this one's going to be a little bit controversial because it's a slasher. And it is cheesy. But for me, it scared me. And I want to put a couple personal cuts on here. Tourist Trap. Yes, it's David Schmoller. Early role by Tanya Roberts. And, of course, the great, great Jocelyn Jones and, of course, Chuck Connors are in this film as well. Now, who's seen this film? Come on, somebody's seen this film. It does, doesn't it? It's one of those that just creeps you out. The you got Kubrick, you got to give this another chance. This is a really good film. The music in this is really good. The camera work is extremely well done too, and the sequence at the beginning of this film that kind of lets you know that you're not in for your typical film. Luckily, Death Bomb, this version here is the uncut version. I'll definitely check it out, Sasha. Actually, I'll check it out right now. Oh wow, your ghost out's incredible. Taxi driver. You have a talent for this, Sasha. No, this is the DVD that originally came out. No, the DVD that initially came out for this was uncut. Now, when they put this out on Blu-ray first, they put out a cut version of the film. But this is, I kept my DVD edition because it was uncut. Now, the opening sequence of this movie really, really, really creeps me out. It's partially the music, partially those. Definitely, Sasha has the talent for that, man. You ever think of like contacting any of the companies, like Sasha in all seriousness? Because that there's an idea, like just contact some companies and get them some like some demo stuff that you did, because it never hurts, man. This here, just whenever I see this, because of the opening of the film, it creeps me out. The killer in the movie creeps the hell out of me. I know who it was, I knew it was right away. It's pretty obvious, um, but there is a kind of a supernatural, hey kitty, aspect to it. Definitely, it never hurts, man. Now, whereas the last film that I showed you, something that a lot of people really enjoyed, this is one that is even more polarizing than the last one that I've shown. But I really like this film, especially one sequence. There's one sequence that really, really gets the tension built up for me. And you guys know I'm not a fan of clowns. Just waiting for me to hold up. I purposely didn't put Black Christmas in there, Vanessa, because I tried to stay away from the like ones you'd think that I would put in here. Like The Thing wasn't in here, Black Christmas wasn't here, and none of the Alfred Hitchcocks were here. Because I want to give you stuff that you may not have seen, and that was my challenge to myself. Amusement. Now, who's seen Amusement? People either normally love or hate this film. So this is a horror anthology. Oh, I am scared to death of clowns, Jason. That's why I push myself to watch this stuff. Uh, Now, I can't give away how integral the wraparound is to this film because it goes farther than your regular horror anthology. Your regular horror anthology, pretty much there's a wraparound, and sometimes it'll have something to do with the stories that you've seen before. Much like, not as, in the same level, but much like, kind of like the way that Trick or Treat plays with the narrative. This one does a bit too. Now, for me, the best story in this one is a babysitter that is taking care of this kid in this house that is filled with creepy dolls. No, no, this Trick or Treat, the one I'm talking about, is the Michael O'Donoghue film, the one that just, it was the anthology film. Yeah, really, really good film. I thought this was excellent. I think some of the some of them are better evenly done than others, but I would recommend it. I really would. It's a really interesting little film. Um, I, this is another one. I could definitely see like Scream Factory or Arrow putting this out in the future. I'm really surprised no company has like done this. It's very creepy pasta. It actually is. That's what I thought about. So it's very much like what a creepy pasta. So if anybody knows what creepy pasta is, and where I'm older, I found it from my kids a few years back. Very Channel Zero-ish, right? Creepy pasta TV show. But really well done. I don't want to give anything away. I think it's one you got to go in and see. Uh, when you get to that point towards kind of the wraparound and like the kind of the ending sequence, it's a nice little twist, and I love the way that it was done. Definitely, definitely one to check out. I'm going videos I wouldn't recommend. That's actually a really good idea. Though I try to stay away from the negatively like slanted list, but that actually is a that could challenge me, Kubrick. So in the future, that's something I might do. Spoiler alert: Serbian film probably on the list. All right, George is gonna know this one. This is the Umbrella edition. Now, just came out, and I know because George and Box on his channel is the insanely great, fantastic indicator edition of this one here. This is Richard Franklin's Road Games. Road Games is an excellent, excellent little thriller. Stacy Keach, Jamie Lee Curtis, um, on the Australian highway, stalking a potential serial killer. This is so well done, and it's so well played, and it's easy to see why Richard Franklin got the name of the Australian Hitchcock. And do they speak Australian? I don't think they do actually. Not if I remember correctly. But there's Australian actors in them. They speak Australian accents because they're not from Australia. Like he's a trucker, and he's got a dingo, and Jamie Lee Curtis, like she's hitchhiking. He picks her up. Definitely Vanessa. I think you'll thank me for this one here. This is a movie that got him Psycho 2, which he would direct afterwards. But unfortunately, Richard Franklin has passed on now. But movies like Patrick and Road Games and Psycho 2 are movies that you definitely have to check out. It's a fake thing. It is a fake dingo, yeah. I know it's hard to think of Australians with Australian accents. The dingo is your favorite character? He's a lot of people's favorite character in this film, so you're not alone. All right. What year is Road Games? It's early 80s, if I remember correctly. It wasn't 82 or 84, somewhere around there. 81. So yeah, it was even earlier. Uh, and it does have that feel. 81 was a really good year for film. Like, just look up horror in 1981. Man, it was a good year for films. Have I seen Animal Kingdom? I think, I think I have. It's a long, long time ago. I don't own it though. It's one that who put that out? Because I got a feeling somebody put that out, and I was going to pick it up, but I didn't. But if I, or I could have the wrong film, and I could be totally thinking the wrong thing. Hopefully, I'm thinking of the right one. All right. So, what's a really cool, tense film? Sony in the USA. Maybe not, actually. I'll look into it though. So there may be one I haven't seen. If it's one I haven't seen, I'm super excited because I love when people recommend things I haven't seen. What's a great, tense little, really nice thriller for the dead of winter? I warned you there was a dad joke in this. Dead of Winter with Mary Steenburgen and Roddy McDowall. This is just such an amazing film. It is kind of like it's sort of a remake of Her Name is Julie Ross, but it goes in a much different direction. Uh, sort of a very similar story, but this one is much creepier. This is so good, and a lot of this is like Mary Steenburgen and Roddy McDowall play off each other so well, and they do such great jobs. Roddy McDowall just has this kind of like unease about him. You definitely need to pick this up, Jason. I think you'd love this one. This is a really, really good film. There's the one with the two children with their stepmother left behind. I mean, like was that The Visit? This one is put out by 88 Films. This was part of their Slasher Classics collection. So I definitely would consider waiting until Dark and Chiller. That's perfect for the list, actually. I love that film. And it's very much in the same line as this. So one of the neat things they did with this is often, like this one doesn't have the booklet. Some of these have booklets. They'll have like alternate artwork. I don't like the alternate artwork for this film, actually. It's just so cut and paste. Like this here is better alternate art, if you to be honest with you, on the disc. And it's a great film. Like, I don't really want to give away like too much of this one, but this one is, I think, this one is supposed to be in Canada. I think it was shot in Canada too, which makes sense because it's a dead of winter film. Um, but definitely one that I recommend you guys check out because if you're talking about like tense films, Dead of Winter, it really, really is. Simple Plan and Fargo, and Fargo the TV series, by the way, really good as well. I would recommend that for those that haven't checked it out. This is one that I got last year. It was a surprise gift from my better half. It was a second sight release, and man, do I love this movie. Actually, I love both of these movies. I'll definitely check it out. I don't think I've seen it, Sasha, so I'll definitely check it. I'll definitely check it out. When a Stranger Calls, which I love, and what I also love is the sequel on here, When a Stranger Calls Back. So earlier on, somebody mentioned that sequels can outdo the original. May I introduce When a Stranger Calls and When a Stranger Calls Back? Because I'm going to say it. Some people are not going to agree. The sequel, I love the first film. I think it's amazing. It's extremely well done, and its opening sequence is iconic. But the sequel, yeah, even better. And both of them, Mary's right. Both of them are in this release. Now, I don't always do this, but for this one here, I will. There's a really great booklet on the films here. And by the way, just so you know, it includes the original short film that this movie is based on. But one of the most beautiful things is the poster. It has a double-sided poster, and it's probably one of my favorite posters that I own. There's original artwork for When a Stranger Calls. And there is the new artwork from the set. I too was in love with Karen Kane when I was young. I just thought she was amazingly beautiful and just like unique. If you ever find this set, like this is out, you can buy the standard edition now, but if you ever get a chance to get this set of this, I recommend it. Second Sight, and George and anybody else here from UK that has bought like a lot of these Second Sight releases can tell you that these are high quality releases. They put out amazing stuff with reversible cover art, posters, books, hard cases, because this has the hard case. There's the back right there. Very ominous looking, isn't it? You ready for the next one? The next one is kind of sort of a giallo, but more of a chiller. Especially the opening and the ending sequence of the film. And this really, as it comes up to the end, it really ramps up as well. And that one is the first Vinegar Syndrome to hit this list. Don't normally see that, do you? The Corruption of Chris Miller. This was one of these films that I thought I'd seen, and I think I may have seen like a version of it years ago. But this was pretty much going in new to me when I watched this film. And oh my God, this film brings it. It 110% brings it. Place to pick up the set of When Stranger Calls in Canada. I got mine, Mitch, from Amazon UK, the .co.uk. You can, I think, Second Sight might have their own website as well. But for British releases, either check Amazon.co.uk. There's another place called Zavvi, Zavvi, that have a lot of British releases as well. You might also want to check Diabolique because sometimes they'll have stuff in that you don't see elsewhere. And whenever Vinegar Syndrome has their Black Friday or half of the Black Friday sale, they have something called staff picks where they'll have like stuff from different companies. So definitely check there as well. Hopefully that helps out a bit. Corruption of Chris Miller is such a good film, and I just love the way this is done. I love the tenseness too. It is definitely a very layered film, and it goes in a much different way than a lot of people think. I love the ending of this film. Like, thanks. I really enjoyed the Cobwebs episode. Uh, I've been on Cobwebs a couple times now, and I always enjoy it. Uh, check out my just to this stuff with Brian Sauer. Check out Brian Sauer anyway, because this stuff is really good. As a supporting characters podcast, by the way, check that out too. That's one I don't like shout out enough that I listen to a lot. If you got your Cobwebs, Just to This, Pure Cinema, and supporting characters, those are four podcasts that I definitely recommend you check out. Corruption Chris Miller. I don't want to give too much away because it's just one of those great films. It has a fantastic opening to the film. It's just incredibly creepy, and the outfit that the killer wears is evocative and creepy and just unusual and odd, and it really sets the tone for what's to come in a unique way. That it's not exactly Chaplin. Nothing is quite what it seems on the surface. And Corruption Chris Miller is a really good one for that. Now, for just a really good, tense, wrong man style chase film, it's pretty bleak. It's pretty Canadian, and this one I truly enjoyed. And if you're a fan of Inspector Gadget, for not sure how old some of you guys, if you remember a character by the name of Inspector Gadget, the cartoon, Factory of Horror is one of the Fangoria ones. Definitely a good one. As is like was it All the Colors of Fear, All the Colors of Dark, the one that Rebecca McHenry and Eldrick Kane do together, really good as well. But if you like Chief Quimby on Inspector Gadget, then there's another reason to like this film, and this is Sudden Fury. Sudden Fury is just a really good, uh, really tense, extremely well done Canadian thriller. Uh, Kind of very low budget, very, it's very much, and I would say it's very much of a Hitchcockian style film. Exact, no good deed goes unpunished. Perfect, Jacob, when it comes to this film. Oh, Couch, you really do have to see this. This is a really great film, and it does stand out. Now, was it alternate artwork? Did I not switch it over? Did I not like the artwork? It's pretty much the same. It's, oh, yeah, that's the thing. Vinegar Cinema is real. I gotta say, they're really good when it comes to like to the blind buying of films. I rarely blind buy Vinegar Syndrome that I don't like. Sometimes low budgets are best. It's true. Excellent film. So if you've never checked out Sudden Fury, I'm going to say right now it's 100% one to check out. It is a great film. And although I didn't bring it over here right now because I talked about it so soon, like not recently, is I Start Counting has a really great like kind of like really good like it's a film, it's much of a coming of age film, like know that going in, but there is a lot of suspense, especially near the ending of I Start Counting. That is definitely much like it's a must watch, a must see. That was put out by Fun City Editions, by the way. I read to see a movie that you didn't think you'd see on here. Hey there, Kay. Well, it's a Larry Fessenden film from put out by Screen Factory, and not on his box set. It's a little film that I thought was really cool and really fun, and actually kind of tense. Actually, films that I gave away that I missed, I could actually do a good. Beneath. I really enjoyed this film. And is anybody else with me on this one? Anybody else like really like this film? Was really surprised by how good and how tightly done this film was. Now, Beneath runs at clocks in at 90 minutes in total, and much like that short film, The Raft, which you see, which is part of the anthology film, Creep Show 2, it kind of runs along that way. In that, receive your hammer horse. Isn't the booklet incredible? Don't you love the way they do all the posters? I love that aspect of it. Because I expected, honestly, to be 100%, I expected there be like a lot less effort into the booklet, but they really like. I was super stoked by that. Oh, if you like The Raft, then you definitely have to see this Kubrick. These guys go out in a boat on this basically on this in the water, and in this lake, and there's this kind of this ancient like sea monster type creature that is stalking them and keeps going, kind of going under the boat and shaking and trying to get them. Uh, definitely, trying to get his lunch basically. And it is extremely tense. It is extremely well done, and you don't know who's going to survive, if anyone's going to survive, if they're going to make it, and if so, how. No, no, nothing at all like Frankenfish. A Frankenfish is, is fun. It's cheesy and fun. This is dark. This is a character study, and I truly mean that. It is a character study, and it is tense. It is a tense film that is extremely well done, extremely well shot, and it really takes advantage of its location and its characters. Another one, I for me this is up near the top for Fessenden stuff. Like that's my personal opinion. Now, you may not find it, but for me it really stood out. But it's been a while since I've seen some of his work, so I would have to go back and look at some of the earlier stuff and some stuff that I haven't seen in a while. But Beneath really stood out to me. Another one that I didn't bring over here that I do recommend is called Break. Now, Break is an incredibly tense little film about a some people that are going up in a skiing gondola, and they get so far up, and the person that's taking care of the gondola, his necklace gets caught in the machinery, and he dies. Nobody knows they're up. He's the only person that knows they're up there, and they're up there. It's New Year's Eve, so no one's coming. They're freezing, and things just escalate from there, including one of them that completely loses it and becomes complete, really kind of like a psychopath that wants to survive at any means necessary. So if you've never checked out Break, I do recommend you check it out. It's one of those you can regularly get like cheaper from Walmart, especially this time of year. 100% check it out. All right, another Brian De Palma film, guys, and one of my favorite Brian De Palma films. The most claustrophobic Brian De Palma film of all time. But hey, relax, because this one is a lot of fun. And is it tense? Very much so. Does it have a creepy killer? Yeah, it really does. Is Sasha 100% right? You know he is. It is Body Double. My personal favorite Brian De Palma film, to be honest with you guys. I've seen this one more than any other film. It stars Craig Wasson. We got, of course, the beautifully gorgeous Deborah Shelton in this one here. Early role by Melanie Griffith. And as always, the great Craig Henry. He does incredible in this film. And I don't want to say too much. Basically, Craig Wasson plays an actor that is he's at an acting class with a couple friends. Me too, actually, Dave. I actually got to see this one theater. Definitely worth checking out, Jason. Don't go in blind. Like one of my most viewed films. Like Black Christmas is probably one of my most viewed films, but Body Double is definitely up there in like the top 5 films that I've viewed most of the time. I need the indicator release. This is the umbrella release, so they do amazing jobs with the stuff they do. But definitely check this one out. So basically, he's an actor. He's gone to an acting class. He goes home to his girlfriend, who is Barbara Crampton. You think, hey, wow, lucky guy. But he goes home to see his girlfriend is cheating on him. And he immediately, obviously rushes out. He leaves. He's devastated. He meets up with a friend who's leaving town, and he says, basically, I got this sweet apartment. Take over. You can like have it for a few days. I'm going into town. I got a film I'm doing because he's got actor friends, and he's like, by the way, there's this girl next door that puts on a strip show every night, and you can see it through through the telescope. Unfortunately, that's not all he sees, and he's somebody that suffers with severe claustrophobia. That's why I made that comment earlier on. And anybody that's claustrophobic, you're going to feel it a bit in this film because there's a scene, especially there's a chase scene on a beach, and you'll remember it if you've seen the movie. That is very very does a very good job. If you've ever been a claustrophobic person, then does a very good job of giving you that sense of dread and just paranoia and that anxiety feeling. Uh, Maybe that's not making you want to see it, but definitely it really does a good job of that. Tense in a different way, and even the short film on this is tense in its own unique, different way, and it goes in a different direction than you're probably going to think this movie's going to go. When I picked this movie up in London a few years back, it was during a BFI film festival that was going on, and FOP and HMV were promoting BFI by putting like some BFI DVDs at the front of their counter for about £3 each. I picked up this one, and it has since become one of my favorite films that I've ever seen. It stars John Moulder Brown, Jane Asher. It's just so well done, and it is a movie called Deep End. If you have never seen Deep End, again, it's a blind watch. Don't go in knowing anything with Deep End. And there are some great actors in this one here. Some that you'll know, some that you won't, but all of them you won't forget. And I don't think you forget the ending of Deep End either. It's just one of those movies that stands out. God's tongue stuck in your head. Great. It is a really good film, Couch. So if you haven't checked it out, I definitely recommend you check it out. Got another criterion here. Kubrick can like me tonight. I've done a few criterions. One of the masters of suspense, definitely, and in France, of course, is here we go. Clouseau himself. Diabolique is one of those films that pretty much every film fanatic like Kubrick there fan has in their collection. It's one of those that you find early on that you really kind of cut your teeth on. It's a really good film. It's really well shot. It's extremely well paced. It's amazingly well acted. Yeah, this is the old version of the Criterion. That's the idea, Damon. I thought this listed it well. I think today. Hopefully, you guys think I thought this listed it well. Silent Partner Jacob is a favorite of mine. I don't have it yet, or that would 100% be on this list. I definitely think it's had influence on Psycho. It's a really, really good film. And I won't say anything else but this. If you've never seen it, oh my God, go in blind. If you've heard about it but haven't seen it, still experience it. I really think you should because it's a really great film. And check out the remake. It's not as bad as you think. It's not Clouseau level, but it's not as bad as you think. A film that evokes dread and Paranoia. Like, to great, great degrees. And Twisted Simon's right. Diabolique definitely was something that would have been influential on Jolly, and of course Cremmy as well. Rosemary's Baby. Is there a more paranoid film than Rosemary's Baby? Well, at the time that this was done, probably not. Uh, and this is masterfully done. It's masterfully directed and shot. John Cassavetes, Ruth Gordon. It's got a great cast. Uh, a gorgeous young Mia Farrow. For the first time, wow, this will stick with you. It's one of those films that sticks with you, and it's unfortunately Morocco right now, but I really love this movie. I remember like looking for years to find like because for those that don't know, there was a TV movie sequel to this film called Whatever Happened to Rosemary's Baby. It's not very good, uh, but it's worth checking out as a curio. I'm really surprised the company hasn't put it out yet. But yeah, there was a movie, there's a TV like sequel of this film done years later called Whatever Happened to Rosemary's Baby. Oh, George, definitely go in blind as you can for this one. There's a remake of this one actually, with Rosario Dawson, which I own but I haven't watched yet. So I can't tell you if it's good or bad. I honestly don't know. Yeah, I forgot about that. But you're not wrong. Here's a film filled with tension, filled with suspense. Zoe Zadana. Thank you, Sasha. I was wrong. It's Zoe Zadana. I confused them. But I actually got to speak with a kind of I guess a celebrity recently. I won't say who, but one of my celebrity crushes actually at my workplace. Who I called in, and I was really surprised that it was actually her, but it was. But yeah, that was a perk. Runaway Train. If Canon ever put out a film that legitimately was an Oscar contender, you're looking at it right now. With John Voight, Eric Roberts, Rebecca De Mornay, Runaway Train has white knuckle tenseness, which was written by Kurosawa. You're 100% right, Kubrick. Amazing film. That is genius all around. And what else can I say about this? Nothing. You're going to watch the film. It's really good. I'm not joking. This film stands up. Like to this very day, this is a definitely really good, really tense film. Oh, Vanessa, is this another one you haven't seen? Because hey, you got to check this out. I'm going to put some on your list. Runaway Train, an amazing film that needs to be checked out. Um, Tons of features on her, by the way. Uh, an interview with the director is whose name I'm not going to be able to pronounce, just so you know. Uh, Based on a script by legendary Akira Kurosawa, with hardball prison slang added by real life convict Edward Bunker, who also played Mr. Blue in Reservoir Dogs, by the way, as a bit of a trivia thing there for you. Last but not least, if you can get this film, I'm going to tell you this right now. Buy this specific edition of this film. It's a Donald Kamal film. And I'm sure before I even put it up here, there's a bunch of you that are going to know what this is. This movie is suspense. It It's the definition of a chiller or thriller. So I learned to clean tile, uh, and it is brilliantly done. Donald Camille, yeah, Danny Trejo actually does make a cameo. You've seen it, Sasha? Um, in in this was given like a basically what would have been in anybody else's hands, a basic standard slasher flick. But Donald Camille wasn't that type of director. Donald Camille was somebody that wanted to bring something, wanted to evoke different emotions, bring a different actual aspect to the film, and it works. Uh, the score of the film, co-written by Pink Floyd's Nick Mason, and I did cheat. I cribbed it because I couldn't remember his name. Uh, the film also includes a feature-length documentary on the director George Donald Camille. And I'll be honest with you, the documentary is as fascinating as the film is itself, in some ways more so. But if you haven't seen it, you must see White of the Eye. This is such a good film. This is a white knuckler. It is a tense film. It's a chiller in every sense of the word. Oh, Zach, you have to check this out. Hopefully you'll thank me for this one. Uh, Definitely one that you need to watch. And I'm going to recommend if you've got, this is Region B, so if you got a Region Free player, because I'm not quite sure where you're located, get this edition because the documentary that's on here, it really, really is worth it. It's really that good. The guy had a fascinating life. Uh, this edition, like I know there's a Scream Factory edition. It's nice, but it has nothing on this. Oh yeah, he did the soundtrack. Um, so the score of the film was done by him. So as there's some really neat stuff on here. Aside from the documentary, there's Argument, which is a 1972 short film shot by Vilmas. We don't need to go any farther. We know who Vilmas is. Um, there's some other alternate sequences and some other neat things put in here. There's a lot of stuff. This is loaded. Right on. There you go. Kubrick will finish it for you. Got the steelbook version of that one. It's a really good one, isn't it? This is one of these films. And it is so, so good. David Keith with and don't rule out Kathy Moriarty either, because she plays plays his wife in this film, and David Keith's role is so intense and so well done that we can sometimes overlook the brilliant job that Kathy Moriarty does as his wife in the film, because she is incredible in this too. Probably the one of the best, probably the best thing that she's ever done, in my opinion. So there you go, guys. Chillers, in every sense of the word. I don't know if this came across or not. Soon be, Kubrick. Um, I like the way that you always know. I kind of means a lot. But sometimes when I'm here, I'll like put a list video together, and it'll be more kind of like I'll do it, and I'll pick things about some things we'll see more thrown together. Tonight I really took the time to try and put together the absolute best list video I can for this category, and hopefully overall you'll agree that that I succeeded with this one. Uh, I gave you some stuff to think about, to check out. Maybe a couple you could watch as a double feature on a chilly evening when you're there, you're by yourself with your better half. Maybe after the kids have gone to bed, you put on a movie, you get your tea, your coffee, your cocoa, got a nice blanket, and you sit back for a bit until you're sitting on the edge of your seat and you're watching one of these films. I'm Aaron. Thank you for joining me tonight in my movie library. You are the cult of cinema. You guys are amazing and awesome. Please, if you haven't hit the like button, please do before you go out. For my Crimson Cult members and people that are thinking about it, there are some really cool Crimson Cult Patreon exclusive videos coming up, including a Criterion one, which I was given the idea for tonight. I will see you guys soon because I'm off for the next 2 days. I'll keep you guys updated on how things are going. And everybody, have a fantastic night.